And we are live, episode number 6. And this is the first time so far that we haven't had somebody from Main Street Realtors on. We have an amazing duo to bring to you. They've been in business for 15 years together. They're partners. They're not a couple. They are parents, husbands, and partners. Let me welcome Marlena and Manny from SoCal Tittle.
Hi, everyone.
What's up, everyone?
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.
Yes.
I've got a lot of questions for you, so I'm excited about this one. But let's start. Oh, and don't let me forget Esther, who's taking care of the little switches back there again.
Esther.
Let's all pray for Esther because she had an accident recently, and so she's recovering. She's okay. She's bruised, battered, but she will be okay because she's a strong woman. So,
Yes.
That's right.
but that being said, how you guys doing?
We're good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Excited
For
to be
having
here
us.
today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Let's start. I always like to go back to the beginning, as far as you guys got into real estate. Maybe start with you, Marlena, and then Manny. But how long have you been in this field? What did you do before? That kind of thing. And let's just start right there.
All right. Well, thanks for having us, Julian. And yeah, Manny and I have now been a team for 15 years. Before that, we were competitors. I myself came into the business 35 years ago. Before I came into Title, I was pregnant, pushing carts for Albertsons. I had just gotten promoted to checker, and I had the great insurance. It was a great, reliable job per se. Stable job, but being that I was with baby at the time, I knew that probably wasn't something I wanted to forever do. And then I had a cousin who worked for World Title, and all the people in real estate for umpteen years will know who World Title was.
Yep.
And they were downtown San Bernardino on East Street when there was life in San Bernardino on East Street. I came to work there as a receptionist, and from there kind of grew into the trustee sale guarantee department, which is foreclosures essentially, and worked as a front end person, and then kind of just started from there. And everything went from there. Wheels started turning. I started working on different units, and then eventually my introduction to being in the field as a rep was with a company called United Title, and they were based out of Colton on Cooley, and so were a lot of other title companies at the time. And I'll never forget being on a desk, a title unit assistant on a desk. And the sales manager walks up to me one day and he says, "Hey, Marlena, I just have a territory that just opened. My rep who's there now just left to Washington to live forever and ever, and I need a fill." And I'm like, "Well, what does that mean?" He's like, "Well, come with me one day and we'll drive together and I'll show you her territory and I'll show you what she does." And I'm like, "Okay, great." We get in the car. I'll never forget. A couple of days later, we get in the car. We drive into Fontana, where back then, you guys, there was a lot of real estate companies in Fontana.
Oh,
Okay, I could count on one hand anymore what's there, what's left. However, 35 years ago. So we walk into a real estate company, and the introduction was made, myself to the broker and real estate agents that were in the office. And I'll never forget, we're done. We're, saying hellos and doing the things. And he's saying, "Do you need anything today, from them?" And they're saying, "No, we're good. Good to meet you." We leave. And he says, "That's it. That's all you have to do." And I was like, "Oh, I can do this. I got this." So that's kind of where my journey began. And yes, 35 years fast forward, I've been with probably about 5 different companies, but the longevity of my career was my last company, which I call my practice company, because that was a 25-year relationship that I just came out of. And what that has done is kind of helped us to do what we've done in the last year. So we'll get into that.
Yeah,
I'd
for
love
sure.
to hear about Manny's stories.
Yeah, before you go. So I always like, there's always a moment in somebody's life. So, I mean, that was a pivotal moment for when you left that stable job and you went into whatever this was at the time. It seemed probably like somewhat stable, but you weren't like on commission or anything like that. You got a job, but like, there's always this moment. I met this guy don't know if I told this story, but I met this guy who made skateboard wheels. Like that was his company. I'm like, how the heck did you end up making skateboard and rollerblade wheels? Like, where does that even, you don't wake up saying, I'm going to grow up, I'm going to make skateboard wheels. It's not what happens. So we had that conversation. So for you, what drew you away from where you were into that? What was that decision?
You're right.
like?
I did not grow up thinking I wanted to be a title person. You're right. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. What my true calling I always felt was being in law enforcement. And I'll never forget, I interviewed, I did the physical agility. I did, I think I got all the way up to the last interview, and I'll never forget not being accepted as a correctional officer. That was my real true Phil calling, because fast forward in my ministry, all I ever wanted to do was be in the jails and helping moms or battered women who spent time in jail. And I wanted to be like a counselor to them. So I saw myself, that was the beginning of that career, so to speak. And when I didn't make it, I'll never forget thinking like, what am I going to do with my life?
Yeah.
And I will say, I've got a lot of people that I know, and my father retired from Stater Brothers, and it's a great job, and it's, very reliable, and, and he's retired from it. So I know it was a good, stable job. I just knew it wasn't career, and just knew it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And so, yes, fast forward, and somebody introduced me to this business. Never did I think I'd be here.
It'd be a career. It was going to be a job.
Yeah.
Then that's the next job, and we'll see where it goes. And then you're still here.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And you, sir?
Wow. It's crazy that we've done a couple podcasts, and we've been doing meetings, and I never knew you worked in the grocery store.
Yeah.
And actually, I started working at the grocery store
Really?
as well. You guys remember Smith's?
Yes.
Yeah.
Grocery stores? Well, my brother was a key carrier for them. He ran actually all Southern California. Now just graduated high school. He goes, hey, and I was still playing college ball. He goes, hey, you want to get a part-time? I was like, yeah. Worked at the grocery store, and then I liked the money because good money, got insurance, and got promoted to night crew. So I was like, okay, I don't know if I want to work night crew, because I was still young. I was like, I just was already like going to be 19. I was like, I don't know, good money. I worked for a month night crew. I was like, oh shit, that's a lot of money coming. So I think I like it. So I ended up putting a hold on playing soccer, and it got to the point where Smith went out of business. Yeah. So like, well, I'm gonna go back to school then. Go back to school, play soccer again. I'm good. And started working part-time at a retail store. And I ran into one of my old coworkers from Smith's. Hey, bro, you should come work with me. I was like, where do you work? He's like, I do title. I was like, what the hell's title? Like, again, not knowing what title was, not thinking that's what I want to do for my career. I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. I'm looking to get into, a full-time job at the time. My wife was pregnant, so I needed to get something stable. So I said, all right, screw it. I'll go get it. I'll interview with you guys. So I went, interviewed, hired me. That's how I started my career in title. Started from, actually back then, this, they had messengers. Title companies had messengers, would go to office, deliver property profiles, farming, whatever the agent ordered, we would deliver it. We had a route. So I started as a messenger.
Okay.
Then I got promoted to customer service. Then I got promoted into management, and I ran all San Gabriel Valley. I ran customer service, searching, and farming. Also messengers. I had a department of messengers. I ran all that department. I was the youngest manager for that company, it was a big company. Yeah. Still a big company. So I started my career.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think pull that closer? What do you think, just pull it close to the edge of the table. Okay. What do you think for you? I mean, in that time, obviously you went from the bottom up, right? And you progressed through that whole process. What do you attribute that to as far as when it comes to you?
Just hard work. Obviously my parents work hard. My mom will get up at 3 a.m, go to work. My dad, same thing, worked many hours, and just got that from them. It just always worked hard. Always, to now, I tell my kids, you got to earn it. So nothing was ever given to me. I always earned it. I always worked hard, and that's something that I'm grateful for, that I learned from my parents.
Nice. Yeah. I think I'm not going to talk about it. And sometimes those values that your parents gave to you are these days sometimes aren't being given down in the same way. And I think it's apparent in a lot of ways, but it's for another day and another conversation.
Definitely.
How did you guys end up linking up at some point?
Well, we've seen each other. We would run into each other all the time.
Oh, yeah.
But
Very
we
often.
always had that respect with one another. You know, I know in the industry, it's kind of like, oh, she's in my office, she's in my territory. But we never had that. Like, we would like, hey, what's up, girl? Like, it's same thing. And at that point, I'm gonna start my story real quick. I was actually making a move. I wanted to make a move. You know, with just went through a stage through my life at that point that I needed to make a change for myself. So I wanted to make a move, and I guess she heard through the grapevine that I was wanting to make a move, and she called me up. Hey, let's set up. Let's meet up. But even when we met up, we weren't even talking about being a team. We were just come over here and work for us.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, you know, I'll check it out. And so that's how we ended up talking.
Yeah, it's been 15 years now. You know, it's really a great dynamic because in Tittle, you don't really see a team as Manny and I have created that will last if you're not related. Let's be honest, right? If you're not a husband and wife.
Yeah, I know quite a few husband and wife title teams for sure, even in real estate. Yeah.
And parent and child, like that does work. We all know that. It's going to the same household. But Manny and I have really made it work for us, and we do really well together. We work off of each other really well. We feel like we can have, if we're in an appointment with an agent, and it's funny, 9 times out of 10, if they don't like me, they're gonna love him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And
vice versa.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
And I think we've just created this great system between us, and now we've grown our team since then. And so the dynamic is amazing.
Yeah. I'm really been diving deep into, I think 2 things, like for you, especially like what you mentioned on the being in the same territory, and everybody looks at the other person. Oh, you're in my territory. You know, I want these guys, you go stay over there or whatever. And it's the same in real estate. You know, a lot of people, agents, you know, they don't want to share what they're doing because somebody's going to do that in their market. It's going to take their thing. But, you know, as I've delved into more of the investment aspect of real estate and investors and that whole world, everybody over there is very helpful and wanting to lift you up with them, and sharing this and sharing that, because, you know, it's a different mindset. You know, it's that there's enough for everybody, you know, kind of a mindset. And if we all work together, then we all, you know, can rise together. And it's a different world in that aspect. And with that, I've been learning about partnerships, because when you partner with somebody, you can go, I don't know if you ever read the book Rocket Fuel. And you haven't read it. So it talks about basically by partnering up, you're going to pour rocket fuel in your business, and you can, you know, be a lot more, you get a lot further faster. Right. And because you both, to your point, hold different skill sets or different things. You know, like in a meeting with an agent, like, hey, you know, I don't like her, but I gravitate to him. So that kind of whole dichotomy. So you guys, you mentioned you've been together for a very long time, 15 years, a partnership. You know, I'm sure it was a lot of work, but you have a very good relationship and foundation in business. Did you guys ever, what was the key, I guess I could say? Because I know with like Rocket Fuel, it talks about, you know, you have a visionary and you have the integrator. They're 2 different roles. They do 2 different things. And it talks about getting clear on those things. And then, you know, you just go. So,
well, I would say, I think for me, before we had our concierge team, who Manny and I now pretty much refer a lot of our title system setups to our concierge team. But before that, Manny was more of the back end knowledgeable, coming from customer service, farming, techie.
Integrator.
He was more of the integrator, right?
Yeah.
And I think I was more of the organizer, meeting setter, right? Yeah. And so that's how we complement each other. And it just worked for us.
Yeah.
And we just started growing it. And we didn't know if this thing was going to last. We didn't know if it was going to work out. And there was some rocky times. And I think a lot of the rocky times were during COVID, because we weren't collaborating, because we were all home.
Yeah.
So him and I didn't see each other. We didn't get to, you know, have the meetings that we normally do and kind of get together as a team. So there was a lot of, you know, maybe misunderstandings and stuff like that. But all in all, you know, we got through that and we continued to grow. And yeah, it's been fun. We've made it a lot of fun, and we respect each other. We think we respect each other's work ethic. I don't ever worry about Manny working. Manny is a sole provider. Marlena is a sole provider. We don't worry about each other because we know this is what we have to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have our whys, and that's our families. And so we really protect that, and we really are out there doing it for our families.
I mean, I have so much respect for her. She knows it. She's a hard ass worker. I mean, so I can't fall behind either.
Yeah.
Even though, again, I grew up working hard and all that, but yeah, we had some bumps, but I think that made us stronger.
Mhm.
That made us where we're at now. And it's, people are out there probably trying to knock us down, but we have each other's back, and we work our asses off. And
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that people, I think they probably see it now. They're like, oh shit, we better not mess with them. They're good. And now that we're growing our team, we're getting bigger, just because we put in the time.
Mhm.
We put in the time, and I know, again, I don't have to worry about her not working. Same thing with me. We're out there hustling because at the end of the day, we have to make it happen.
Yeah. I think two things I take away from that is, one, that you guys both found each other who both are hard workers, right? There's not one person relying on the other person to do whatever. Like it's an equal effort. And I think that it sounds like that you fell into the integrator vision kind of just naturally. That just worked out. But a lot of times people find other people that are like them, and that's where the struggles come in, because they both want to do the lead gen or out there doing this, and the other person doesn't want to just be over here doing this. And you guys have been able to do both at the same time, because you guys both go on appointments, but a lot of that kind of worked itself out, strengths, weaknesses together,
And
stronger.
I think just being together for so long, we look at the roles, right? I mean, we know our roles, but we also see the energy. And if I feel Marlena's on the roll, shoot, I'll let her roll with it. Because you try to interrupt, or like, oh no, I need to say so. Like, there's signs like she'll just, hey man, you're on the road, go for it,
Mhm.
And there's signs that I take that role too. It just depends, but we feed off each other. It's
a dynamic, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
and there's no
dynamic.
jealousy. I'd be
Yeah.
like, dude, and I even tell you killed it today.
Yeah.
And there's signs like, hey, you killed it. It's just the way it is. And I think a lot of people, you said it, like, there's a little jealousy when it comes down to that. No, I want to do that. No, I want to do that. I'd be like, dude, as long as we get it for our team, it's all that matters.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that goes back to originally why you guys even got together in the first place, right? There was no ego. Like, hey, I want to work together. Let's grow. Let's be successful and have fun while we do it. Yeah. So, and you mentioned that you guys were with a large company for a long time.
Yes.
What's going on now?
So let's see.
Love it.
Yes, we're excited. So it's been a year. Gosh, it goes fast. It's been a year. October of 22, Manny and I accepted a position with a small title company. It was a year young when we came aboard. There was maybe four employees.
4 employees.
They were in a room of this big. We had probably 6 reps. And Manny and I came in, and by month 6, we had grown into an actual office setting where there's now 13 employees. We have about 14 reps now.
Yeah.
And we have had the most amazing, fun time growing this company. Again, it was a small company. Maybe there was, I would say, 80 orders monthly of this whole entire company, and we've scaled to another level. So, we're excited about that, because I know that we've brought that, and our clients have been so
supportive,
very supportive of us and our move. And, we don't just say it, we do it. I'm a big file person, meaning I jump into the files. If we have issues on files, I get with my title officer and we get it done. And so, that has made a big deal, and people, our customers coming with us because they know we're not just going to let the inside staff work on the file. If there's something that has to be done, Manny and I are going to work on it. And we're constantly, like, our thing is, just get it. There's a way to get it done, right? We're going to find a way to get it done. And so that's what we do. We're constantly connecting. That's what our slogan is, always connecting. because we love connecting people. We love connecting our staff with our agents. We love connecting agents with agents, whatever it is, we're always connecting with people. And that's first and foremost what we love to do.
It's been fun. It was scary. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But you go, at least for me, I went from 2 big companies. This is my 3rd company. And I plan to stay here for a long time and grow it. Retire, I mean, that was the biggest thing when we made this decision as a team, is we got to go somewhere where we're going to be able to grow, give something back to our families, to our kids. You know what I mean? I don't want to work forever, and neither does she. I want to be able to enjoy whatever we worked our asses for. So I just felt like this is a great move for us, and expand and grow and be proud of it. I mean, and it's hard because we had a lot of people trying to knock us down, and we still do.
Yeah.
But you know what? It just, oh man, it just pisses us off, and we just work harder.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what comes to my mind is that, like, it's the perfect time for you guys to do something like this, because you obviously you have a lot of experience, and you've worked for the big companies. You've seen what it's like when you're a big company, all the things that they do right, maybe they do wrong. And now you're coming into a small company that with visions of growing it to something that's big company, right? But at the same time, you guys started in the business at such a young age to get all the experience and wealth of knowledge that you have now, and still have that drive and that energy that you're going to need to get this thing off and where it needs to go. And, by the time this thing's blown up, you guys will be at the time to kind of start to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And I think that's awesome. Yeah.
And I will say, Julian, like, one of the things that Manny and I really believe in is philanthropy. And 4 years ago, when we met Jeremiah, who was CEO of our
Prosperity Homes.
Thank you. We met Jeremiah, and we knew that this collaboration together, us working with his nonprofit and helping families the way we do in Mexico, and what that looks like is we go out on a Saturday and we build a home until Monday. And we hand over keys to people who have never had a roof over their head before, kids who have never had a bed to sleep in. Now they're jumping on their bed. I mean, that's first and foremost where our heart is. And Jeremiah has been instrumental because he built this from the ground up, this Prosperity Homes that we're speaking of. And Jeremiah is part of our team M&M. And so not only are we training our agents to farm, to lead gen, to do all the things with our title tools, but we're also, sharing this experience of going to Mexico and build a home for these people. Because in true service, when you go and you build this home, you don't know if it's affecting you or it's affecting them, but you can see, you leave there, you're serving, but you leave there being served, right? And so we believe that the philanthropic hearts and work of what we're doing, we've not seen Title do this before, and so we combine the two because we help you as agents see what we're doing and do it with us, And that in itself creates this special bond between us because we're doing something like this together.
And that was another reason why we made that move, because SoCal is going to be part of building homes. So every closing, we're going to start donating for that to actually have one built a year, which is huge. And unfortunately, we try to do it with the other company. They say they would do it, and they end up never stepping up and doing it. So, that's and then we love Jeremiah, and he's a huge part of our team, and he's full time with us, and we love it.
I think that's amazing because as realtors or people in real estate, we always talk about the joy it is to even hand a key over to a buyer, or just do a good job. You're helping people through a transition in their life, and people always talk about it being the biggest asset that they have, but it's also a very emotional transition, right? You're picking up your home and you're moving it here, or you're getting your very first home because it's the American dream, right? And you get to fulfill that and help people get that, and it's a really cool feeling. But I mean, to take that to the next level, you're literally building a house and giving it to a family that probably would have maybe never even had a roof, or would have never even had an opportunity to have a place to call home, or a kid to jump on a bed. I mean, that's just another level. And I also think that the blessing is that, you know, we're called to serve, and when we're able to give ourselves and put effort out and help people that are less fortunate, it's that's what we're called to do, and we're called to, you know, spread the word and do things like that. So that's why you feel so fulfilled when you're able to be in those moments and do those things. And, you know, I think it's awesome that you guys are doing that. And, you know, hopefully at some point I'll be able to go down there with you guys and do it.
Yes, I
So
love that.
that'd be
I
cool.
mean, that was perfectly said.
Yes.
Perfectly said.
So, well, so you guys have that. SoCal is a part of that mission for you guys. That's fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about Tittle itself. I guess let's start there. Why do we have title companies, and because, you know, a lot of different states are different and they call them different things in different places, but why do we have title? What is it? Tell me about it.
Wow.
For those of you who don't know.
Well,
It is boring, though. I ain't
it's a
gonna
boring
lie.
topic. And you're going to come across your buyers and sellers that say, why do I need title insurance, right? So I say it best like this. It's easy to understand. When you purchase a home, you want to make sure that at that closing, when you're receiving those keys, that there are no encumbrances from that previous seller. So it's a clean slate for the seller. It's a clean slate and clean slate for the buyer. And so the way title works is today we closed escrow, you become a homeowner of that property, and we provide you that policy that everything is free and clear from the day you close backwards.
So policy, and it took me a long time in the business to understand that title companies, they're an insurance company.
Yes.
That's all it is. And they're ensuring that the house that you bought is yours and nobody else's. There's not other clouds and all these people have claims to your property, which it took me a while to kind of put those two and two together. You just talk about title and you're making sure who owns who, but I didn't understand that it was actually an insurance company.
Yeah. And then some people get confused because, well, I'm already getting home insurance. When I close escrow, I got to have home insurance today, but I pay a monthly to have it protected every month. No, this is different. It's a one-time fee. You pay it through your closing proceeds, and we're insuring it backwards to make sure that you have a free and clear title when you purchase that home.
And if for whatever reason, somehow something happened and you missed something on the title, what happens next?
Well, you have to file a claim.
Yeah.
File a claim just like you would if you got in a car accident, you have insurance, file a claim. They're going to go through the whole process. And from there, obviously, if the title company missed that, whatever the amount is.
Not the SoCal Tittle would ever miss that.
No,
I'm just saying. I mean, if that were to happen, it seems pretty rare these days. But the cool thing is I learned that, you know, if there is cost, there's costs involved in fixing these, and who covers those costs?
It will be SoCal. If we would have missed it,
right,
we would have to.
The insurance company, SoCal Tittle or whatever title company, does the legal work to remedy the situation, which is pretty cool. So, because I mean, if you spent $1 million, $500,000 on a house, and it's not, and there's something wrong, then that's a really good thing.
Tax lien, $300,000 is missed.
Yeah.
And I think there's a misconception, like Manny bringing up, like tax liens. Like nobody can really wrap their head around, why does the title company have this information? People forget that these items are public record. Right. So anything that is recorded against a property, whether it be some kind of life-changing event, a lien of any sort, if it's recorded on a property, we have access to it through the title company. The title company is direct connect to the county recorders. And so therefore, anything that is recorded, everybody can have access to it because it's public record.
Mm-hmm. I had and I didn't know you could do this. This was the first time I'd ever done it. I had a client that had a lien on her house, and she had a couple of them. They had a couple of them, and we were able to, and then once we got into escrow and things were happening, there was a couple more people that tacked on to the fact that they were selling a house with a couple more liens on the property, on some debts that were owed, and we were able to still close on that property, but we just withheld proceeds in title while those were disputed after the fact. Just case you guys didn't know that, which I thought I never even knew was possible, which was cool.
Well, it's case by case.
Yeah.
It depends what type of liens they are,
Mhm.
right? If it's a federal tax lien, definitely won't happen.
Yeah.
But if it just
Or child
depends,
support.
child support. It's case by case, and yeah, we've done that in the past where if it's something that we can work on and we'll hold proceeds. Keep in mind, we have to hold
Double
three
three times.
Well,
Usually
at this
three
three
times.
times
Three
the
times?
amount
Okay.
of whatever that lien might be.
Yeah.
So
And it could be nothing. It could be a paid off lien.
Yeah.
It could be very minimal of a lien, but still, if we see a recorded amount of that lien, we
Mhm.
are supposed to hold 3 times that amount until it's clear.
So so we've got what title is. How do you guys fit into the transaction itself from start to finish? Because like I guess I would say when it comes time for the house to be recorded, what's happening in those moments? Is there somebody standing down in the county court line, with some paperwork trying to record this deed?
I know that's
back
funny.
then,
Yeah,
back then it was like
yeah,
that.
it
It's
was.
completely different now. It's
Yeah.
a lot easier.
Yeah,
Um,
title companies now they scan over the documents.
Because I hear all the time, oh, we're in line to fund or to
It's a
close.
line. It's still a line. yeah.
That's LA.
Yeah, a lot of
LA,
times.
you can, they still do that
Really?
a lot.
Or
Yes.
even local, like
Yeah.
locally. When it means in line, it just means there's a lot of title companies and they record as the humans are available to record. So in line just means you're down there and we're not really sure when we're going to get confirmation on this file, but it was supposed to record already this
Mhm.
morning. Well, maybe it didn't record for some reason this morning. Maybe title company didn't get the funds in time. So then it's going to go what we call special, which means in the afternoon you'll get your.
I do a lot of
information.
those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Right?
And the counties are getting a lot pickier now because everything's scanned. If the scan came through and they didn't like the way it looked, they'll pull it. And we've had some of those where it might be a little smudge on the scanner and they didn't like it, they'll turn it back, it's rejected.
Okay.
So now our title units got to go back there, clean it up, rescan it and send it to them. So a lot of times they think it's the title company, but it's the county.
So there's literally somebody at county, you're sending the stuff over there, they're reviewing it one house at a
Yep.
time, review it, everything looks good. Okay, this is good to
Yep.
record, and then they record it, send you
Yep.
confirmation, and then
Exactly.
the house is done.
So we're the last hands on your transaction.
Mhm.
Basically, we're the ones who call you, the agent, and let you know, or escrow, and let you guys know we're confirmed. My favorite C word, confirmed.
That's the best
That's the
It really
call
is.
in real estate.
It
Yep.
best
really
word,
Yeah.
the C word.
My C word. My license plate says confirmed.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's
Yes.
rad. Yeah. I like that. And as far as shifting gears into the agent side of things, what are things that title can help agents with? I tell you this, I'm in the investor side of things. I don't know if you guys work with anybody that's not an agent, if you work straight with investors, but a lot of people don't realize that they can reach out to a title person or a company and they can help them with finding property owners and things like that. What are some things that you guys can help agents with, in case they
I
don't
was
know?
actually just on a Zoom call when I was walking in with one of my investors, and Jeremiah, awesome, was doing the training, and he was asking about certain farming that he wanted to search out for, and that's the beautiful part of having Jeremiah. I can actually go on the
Have a
Zoom, make sure I was
conversation.
there, and then I can come here and do this now.
Yeah.
Before I would actually be on the Zoom doing the training, but Jeremiah's taking that over, and it's amazing, right? But yeah, we have so many tools, man. We have so many ways to get some, whatever criteria you're looking for, we can run it. That's why it's important to have a good connection with your title company, your title executive, and we can help you, help you run some searches and connect you and maybe show you different ways,
Mhm.
So yeah,
Mhm.
investors, wholesalers, real estate agent, lenders, escrow companies. Everybody pretty much needs the same type of information
Mhm.
that we're the ones who will provide that information to them.
What would you tell somebody who's just getting into, let's say maybe it's an agent, they want to transition, or somebody getting into title, that part of it? What advice would you give them?
Title or real estate?
Title.
Title?
They want to go be a title rep.
Okay, so
What's that look like? What's a day in a life?
We just hired a new rep, so that's a perfect. You can probably talk a little bit more on this.
So our newest team member, her name is Barbara. Barbara came from home insurance, but she's been in the real estate game for many, many years. So she's kind of been in and out of it. But she's also a celebrity makeup artist. So she's got a couple of things going on. But the great thing about her is the fact that she's got so many contacts, and she's just a wonderful human, and she's really good in the people space that she knows how to do everything in sales. The title piece is something we just need to add and help her learn, right? And it's something it's easy to learn, if you apply yourself like anything else, right? So I think that she's a really good example of this. And I think sometimes though, the real estate agent who think they're going to come into title, because we might make it look really nice. Yeah. We might make it look really pretty and fun and all the things. But when you're really in the depth of your files and you really care about a closing, it's a lot more than what it looks like, if that makes sense. It's not just all out and, having the fun parties and, going here and there and
that's all I see.
Things. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what everyone thinks.
That's what they think.
But I have a VA that does a lot of our marketing emails. We have a VA for that. We have where I sit for 2 hours in the morning and I email all our clients about what to look for on the prelim.
You review all the prelims?
I review all the prelims. Yes.
That's big.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that they may not think are something that we have to do as reps, so it does look really pretty.
So I'll give you an example. Like we had hired someone else, and again, everyone thinks, oh, you're always at lunch, or you're always doing this, or you're always doing that. I'm like, yeah, but you have to learn. You have to know what you're talking about too. You can just go and you have to know. And I think one thing about Barbara, Marlena, you can tell she has the energy. You can tell she wants to learn. You can tell she wants to go out there and make connections. It's not easy because we can't have a bad day with our unit. We can't have a bad day with escrow. We can't have a bad day with our investors or realtors. We always have to have that smile, regardless. And you know how hard it is, especially when it's a hard day.
Yeah.
But we can't. So when we get
our poor cars.
My car.
We get in our cars and they got to hear it all. But when we walk into your office, you're not gonna know.
Always smiles.
Time that her and I would be in the car together. We'd be like, effing this, effing that. And they were like, all right, we got to go.
Yeah. Thanks, Thomas.
But it's not easy. And people think it's easy, but until you actually go out here and do it, and it's draining. There's times that it's draining. I just get home.
It doesn't stop either.
It doesn't
just
stop.
Like you and as real estate, we're 24/7.
Oh, you are?
We really are.
Yeah.
We're on when you're on.
Yeah.
And we're available when you're on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking about this. I couldn't imagine this being the case. So you tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
But when you guys don't cold call, right? You just show up.
No,
you do cold call. Who do you cold call? Agents.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. When you call these agents, are they nice?
No.
Are they happy to hear from you?
No.
Are they respectful on the phone? No.
Kind of what you get.
I can't imagine that. Can't imagine why somebody that has their business based on cold calling wouldn't be nice to somebody who's calling them.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
Yes.
That's a great point. And I'm glad you brought that
Yeah.
up. Let's talk about that. I'm not just kidding. No, it's amazing. Like, and you don't have to be a jerk. Just tell us, I have a relationship. It's cool. But
super respectful of that.
We get some people, man. They're like, don't call me. We get some emails because, like I said, we send emails. That we do a lot of cold calls through emails too. People would be so mean through email, and I'll be laughing about it. You see this one?
Little keyboard warrior.
But it does make you think exactly that, Julian. You guys are out door knocking and making the calls yourself, to potential home sellers or buyers, and how can you respond to me like that? I'm doing my job like you do your job.
Yeah. It's amazing because, like, I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm nice, but when I got into the business and I started cold calling, I think I did change it up to another level. When I get a phone call from somebody that's soliciting whatever they're soliciting, whether they're from another country, I'd never hang up on them. I always listen to them. I respectfully say, hey, you know what? I appreciate the call. I wish you all the best. I'm not interested, but hopefully the next person is. And then, I'll kindly get off the phone. But I just can't understand how, like I said, how they do those things, and are so disrespectful, having gone through what we go through on a daily basis. I just baffles me. But
Yeah,
um,
it's gone better. I mean, but I would say we've gone. It's harder when they do it in person. I had brokers literally kick me out of their office.
yeah,
Like, hey, get out of my office. You know, but I was like, dude, I work with a couple agents here.
yeah,
But yeah, it's crazy out there too.
yeah.
I mean, we get it.
What I love is when I'm calling somebody, and it's happened more on the I don't know, recently I've just been noticing it, but you'll talk to people that are in business in whatever facet that they're in, but it's probably something that they've done, or they're in some sort of business that does that, and they will say kindly that, hey, I'm not interested, but I respect your hustle. You're out here making these calls.
That's awesome.
Good luck to you. Blah blah blah, and that's always a refreshing response,
Yes.
because so often it's not. It's crazy, but yeah, I wish more people just were kind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think social media has kind of made it
Unkind.
easier to be that unkind. I
Yeah.
mean, read some of these comments. My daughter loves to read the comments, not on her own stuff, but just in these comments. Like, she'll see a post and straight to the comments. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you reading that stuff? She's like, eating popcorn. Like, she's like, this is amazing. Look what they
My
said.
son's
You
the
know, I'm
same
like,
way.
why?
Like, why?
Yeah. So thank God she's not out there making those bad comments, but she loves to read through the drama and the gossip. I'm like, but so SoCal Title, where can people reach out to you, either through SoCal Title or your personally? What's the best way?
Through text, email, it's the easiest way. We respond. I mean, I guess now everything through text is a lot easier. I get a lot more text now.
Social media, like my handle's Marlena, the number 4 title.
Yeah. Same here for Manny 4 title and Instagram.
Yeah, I think that's probably the easiest way.
Mhm.
Always on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's crazy now. Like everything turned. Like I get so many requests
Messages.
through Instagram for business, which before was through text
TikTok.
or email.
Mhm.
Now it's through Instagram or text now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I just thought of something. I don't know if you guys have followed this at all, but have you seen the lawsuit about the commission for agents?
For the agents.
Because I know you're not agents, but as an outsider, have you seen that?
Yes, yes.
Do we have any thoughts on that? Do you think that it's going to affect the way that we do transactions?
I mean, I would say yes.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
I mean, I would say, you would hope not. However, I don't want to be speculating on anything, but I just feel like, yeah, it's going to change things.
It's going to change some things.
Do you think that it's going to help the consumers or hurt the consumers?
I feel like it's going to hurt the consumer. Is that what you
Same.
feel? Like hurting the consumer? I feel like it's going to hurt the consumer, because I feel like you're doing the best of your ability to help them, become a buyer to that property, and you're doing the work. We've all purchased a home. We know what it takes. We know how hard the transaction could be and how emotional it can be. You need that advocate. You need that person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's crossed my mind is that I didn't, I started in 2016, but at one point in time, I think it was in the 80s. I don't know how far into the 90s, we didn't have buyers agents. You were just an agent. And so you had your listings and you had your book where the MLS lived, and people, that's why you had offices, and you'd have office hours. People would be sitting there. People would come in looking for houses, and they had to go to the agent.
I remember
But on more than that, the reason why they created the buyer agent relationship in general was to protect consumers. It's just the same as if you went to court and you had the same lawyer defending both of you guys. It's a legal transaction that's happening, but like you said, you have an advocate on your behalf. And I think that the way that this is going could go is that you could lose, it's hard enough to be able to pay for a home or have, finances, things are expensive, housing is expensive. And quite frankly, the buyer is paying the commission anyways. At the end of the day, they're getting the loan that's included in that price of that home, but the buyer's paying that price. So the buyer's paying it anyways.
Yes.
But if you separate it, it's gonna, and the buyer has to come out of pocket, up front, potentially. That's what people are talking about. Then they're not going to be able to afford to have representation and somebody fighting on their behalf, looking out for their best interest. Because as an agent, you have a fiduciary duty to your client. And if your client's the listing, the house that you're selling, then your fiduciary duty first and foremost is for that person. The other person is just along for the ride at that point, and they have no representation. So I think my opinion, it's setting you back in that aspect. And yeah, that was my thoughts.
Yeah, I know but you're right. And hopefully things will work out, but it will definitely change the business if it does go through.
Yeah, I think that I saw a report one time on, I think it was realtor.com. I don't know if you ever saw this, but there is a threshold to sell your house. Costs money, right? It's not, you can't buy a house today and sell it in 6 months most of the time without doing any improvements or anything like that, because you got a job transfer, whatever. It's going to end up costing you money because there's a barrier to that sale of financial, substance. The realtor.com survey that they said, if it cost you zero money to sell your house, how many of you would put your house up for sale today? 70% of people would put their house up. I think it was a 2018, 2019 survey. And to me, I was like, holy smokes. So the fact that it cost money and there's a barrier to this process is keeping people to be able to have appreciation and have that nest egg in their lives. Because if ever 70% of people put their houses on the market today, where would home values go? So yeah, that was something that was like a light bulb. I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. So anyways, that was it. I think we are about wrapped up.
Awesome.
Marlena for title, Manny for title. If you have any title questions, if you need their services, that's where to go. Hit them in the DMs. Let them know where you saw saw them. And I appreciate you guys watching. You guys have anything else to add?
That's it.
That's it.
Happy holidays,
Thank you.
everyone.
Happy
Yep.
holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
All
you.
right.
It's been awesome.
Thank you. That was fun.